So we were discussing on the MongoDB and to access the server and the related tools. Okay, the capabilities of this MongoDB, you can visit this particular website. Okay, so mongodb.com. So there, what you can see, you can learn about this particular MongoDB. And so what else we have done? So uh, we downloaded MongoDB Compass. Okay, so this is basically the IDE to work on the MongoDB. Okay, so that is one thing what we have learned, and also what we are trying to do, we are trying to log in. Okay, so we try to log into this particular MongoDB. You register yourself. Okay, so you can use directly your account. Okay, so you can sign in. So you just have to sign into this particular MongoDB. So I'm just signing in using one of my Gmail ID. So let me take this. So I selected one Gmail account. I have to log in. Then what happens? It will ask organization name, and project name and all those things, and one cluster will be created. Okay, so one database cluster will be created. So this is basically MongoDB. So you have a cloud version as well as the server version. So what we are trying to do here, we have created one cluster. Okay, so this is basically cloud database. So now a cloud database we have created, so that is available. So now similar to how we created one database in Heroku, the PostgreSQL database we have created in the Heroku website, right? Heroku Cloud. Similar to that, we are creating one NoSQL database in the MongoDB cloud. Okay, so we have created one cluster. After that, how to access that database? That is what we are trying to do. And if you click on connect, okay, so then they will give you some options. Okay, so which method you want to connect? So whether you want to connect from the MongoDB Compass, or whether you want to connect from the cell, or whether you want to connect from your application, that means mobile application or web application or something like that. Okay, so there are three ways. Okay, so let me start with this one first. So let me connect this particular MongoDB using a Compass. Okay, so when you click on that connect with using MongoDB Compass, you will see this particular thing. Okay, so what is that? You have to download one client tool. Okay, so when you download and install, so the client tool will look like this. So this is basically MongoDB Compass. Okay, so this is basically similar to MySQL Workbench. Okay, exactly same, but it's a NoSQL database. So this is how the front end looks like. And then what they are saying, okay, so they are saying we just have to give this connection string. Okay, so we just have to copy this connection string. Okay, so if you want to connect with the this particular Compass, then what you have to do, you just have to use the credential. Okay, so what you are given, so this credential, okay, you just have to use in the Compass. So now what I am doing, so I am typing that particular you know uh, details. Okay, so then I am clicking on this particular connect button. Okay, can you see here? It is connecting to the cloud database. Okay, so it is now connecting to the cloud database, and you can see some example databases will be there. Don't worry about that. So now we have successfully connected to the cloud from our local machine. So from the Compass, which is running in our local machine, we have connected to cloud database. So this is basically cloud database. So whatever modifications I do, if I share this particular connection details, you can also use this particular database. That's all. You just have to get it from here. So connection details done. After that, you just see here, you can create databases. Say, for example, let me create this kind of database. Say, for example, a simple table. Let us create. Say, for example, this is what I'll try to create. Okay, so customer one. Okay, so customer one, and customer one will have some details. So like customer name. Okay, so customer name. So you see, I'm just creating some NoSQL database. So customer one name maybe say maybe Raj. Okay, so maybe the customer, maybe, I'm just considering the peak value. So peak value of power. So that may be, that may be numericals. So that may be 200 kilowatts, something like that. So you see, then you can create, n number of records. So customer two, okay, will have his name maybe Ram. Okay, so his peak power may be 300. Can you see here? So this is one schema. Okay, so it's a JSON file, dictionary variable in Python. So now this is basically you are created some database. Okay, so this database I'm creating. Okay, so this database I am creating. So you see here, so how to create this particular database? You just go to Compass. Why we use MySQL Workbench to create database to do CRUD operation. So similarly, if you want to do any CRUD operation, you can make use of this Compass. So I'm just creating a a database. Okay, say database maybe load data. Okay, or maybe database name maybe say distribution system. Okay, so distribution system. Okay, under that I just give some connection details. Okay, so I may give some connection name as uh, peak power, something like that. So peak power for each customer. So now I'm just I created. So one separate database I created in cloud. So now when I click on this particular, database, so I'll get a lot of collections here. You can have n number of collection like this, n number of tables, records. Now, if you see this particular database, this database is basically empty, nothing is there. So what you can do, you can add, document. Okay, so you can add document. So that means, you can insert, so you can insert any database. So now what is our intention? Let us, create this database. Okay. So now this is the database what we are trying to add. Okay. So okay, so a document, yeah. So here after every record you have to give comma. So now this is the JSON file or the database what we want to load to cloud. So this is the database what we are planning to load to the cloud database. So I just inserted. Okay, so you can see here that that data is coming here. Okay, so if you see here, so that data is basically coming and sitting in this particular place. So you can also see the XML also. Now after that, what you can do, you can refresh this refresh. Okay, already data is added. So now what you can do? So now data is present in cloud. Okay, same data. What you can do, you can see that data as well. Okay, so now you can access that particular data as well. So you can click view monitoring, and you can click on collections. Okay, so now just now we have created one the distribution system peak power values, right? That is coming here also, right? In here also. So when you click on this particular value, and you can see here the data whatever we have given in the compass, that is reflecting here. Everything is same, but it is going and sitting in the cloud. Okay, so now what we have done, we have created a database. So first thing is done. So we created a database. Okay, so database is created. NoSQL database is created. Now what is our next task? Next task is basically connecting this particular database with Python, correct? So we just want to take this 200, 300. Okay, so and we may have to calculate what may be the peak power we are getting at the substation maybe. Okay, so that may be the objective. So let us see how we can do that particular program. Okay, so I am just opening this Jupyter Lab. Okay, I'm just opening this particular Jupyter Lab. Let me take the power. Okay, so now this is the code what you have to use. Let me explain this code. Okay, so what you have to do, so to work on this MongoDB, you have to install this pip install PyMongo. Okay, PyMongo. Okay, so this command you have to run. Okay, so this command you have to run, and I already told you last class. It is a very Python and MongoDB is very basic uh, thing in Python. So even if you go to this W3 school, okay, so you just type MongoDB tutorial, so you will get the basic codes. Okay, so basic codes you will get it, and they will say how to work on this one. So you just have to work on this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 items. Okay, if you execute all these things, that means you know MongoDB and Python connection. So that's all. Okay, so now what is that? So now first step is what now you can see here. I install that particular PyMongo, and so I'm importing that particular library. Okay, so PyMongo I'm importing. Then I just have to create a connection. Okay, I just have to create a connection using the connection string. So in our case, what is the connection string? Connection string is basically this. Okay, so connection string is basically this. So now I'll take that particular connection string. So I'm just pasting that particular connection string here. Okay, so this is my cloud. Okay, so then after that, what you have to do? So after connection, you just have to connect with your database. So that is basically distribution system, correct? So distribution system is the database what you have created, and then under that you have created one collection called peak power. Okay, so peak power, and then what you do? Okay, so you see, after that you may have to print the data present in that particular collection. So we know what data is present. So this data whatever we have created, this should come now, correct? So now let me run. Okay, so I executed this particular program. Can you see here? Okay, so that is basically outputting. Okay, so that is basically giving you the Excel, that JSON file. And if you exactly want some parameter, say for example, the first record, the first customer peak value, if you want, then you can specifically you can access like this. ID is 1, and what you want the peak value. Okay, so peak value like that you can specifically point to some data in that particular JSON file and you can utilize, or specifically you can point to that dictionary variable values, and you can execute. Now you can see what it should display. It should display 200 because we have given 200. So similarly, and say for example you are interested in knowing the total peak value. Okay, so P max at the power distribution system. Okay, correct. So this is what is your objective. Okay, so then you just have to execute this particular command. Okay, so what is the total peak power? One customer power is so and so, and other customer power is so and so kilowatts. So second person, power also I'll take. You can use loop and you can calculate. Okay, so now you can see here peak. So it is adding and it is giving you the value. Okay, it is adding, it is giving you the value. So in this way, you can work on the MongoDB database in Python. Okay, is it clear? So what we have done now, we have now created a database and we have retrieved that particular database. Is it clear? So we have created a database and we retrieved that particular database. So create, retrieve, CRUD. In CRUD, create, retrieve operation is done. So similarly, if you go through this particular tutorial, so they will give you, okay, so they will give you the procedure, the detailed procedure, how you can create database, how you can create, the collection, and how to insert everything. I'll give. They will give. So you just have to follow that particular tutorial. That is good. So because of the short of time, I may execute some demonstration, but you have to take up and you have to execute. Now let me do some insert operation. Okay, so let me take up some insert operation. So now what I'll do, so I'll just take this one. So what is that? So I'll just take the collection. Okay, so this is just to check whether that collection is there or not. So what is my collection? Collection is peak power, right? So you can take the collection list. So in our case, only one collection is there, correct? In distribution, only one peak power is there. You can test whether that peak power is there or not, okay, using this command. Okay, so now even if I execute, it say the peak power exists. Otherwise, it won't come inside that particular if block. Okay, if otherwise. So the next command is basically insert operation. Okay, so let me give you one example from how you can insert data, okay, into the the MongoDB. Okay, so now what I'm trying to do, I created one dictionary variable or JSON document, okay, whose name is say maybe data. Okay, so and that data you want to insert to the database. The my column is basically the collection, peak power collection pointer. So in this particular collection, you are trying to insert this data. Okay, so when I run this particular command, let us see. So now you can see here it got inserted. Okay, so this particular record got inserted. Now let me see. Okay, so if I open this one, okay, and I just have to refresh. So sorry, okay, you just have to refresh. Now, can you see here one more record came here with customer name and all those things, correct? So in this way, you can insert, okay, so records into a database. Okay, so that is what you can do. Yeah, so data, my column is basically pointing to the peak power. So yeah. So now the record is got inserted. So that is also possible. So insert command is done. Okay. So now what we have done, we have created a database and we have done the operations on that particular database from the Python. So similarly, you have different types of queries, like you can sort, you can delete. Okay, so those queries also present. You can simply run this one and you can test. Okay, so whether you can do that particular part. Okay, so just take that as an assignment. And so next part is a bit important. Okay, so this is basically the basic thing what you can do with MongoDB. But when you visit this particular MongoDB, and I already told you, we can create a dynamic charts. Okay, so you can import this particular chart into your website. Okay, or any other application. So now I'm just activating this particular chart. Let's see what happens. So I'm just activating the chart. So let's see what exactly this, how exactly you can. This is very important because whenever we do some application, the plotting some signal, okay, and showcasing your result in the visual format is very important. Okay, so in data analytics, data visualization is a very important field. Okay, so you do analysis, but how you present your data and analysis in a graphical way or pictorial way, that is very important. So that's why if you don't have this tool, then what you have to do, you have to develop all these things in your local system. You got it? But here these charts are inbuilt to your database itself. So that means that entire work you no need to do. So that is the one advantage of this particular the MongoDB chart. Okay, so I'm just created one and I'll just move to the I'll just select the database, and we know I need to select my cluster. Whatever I created, only one cluster is there. Now it is taking that particular data to your chart application. Okay, so chart. So now what I am trying to do, I am trying to see the peak power of different customer in a graphical way. Okay, so the peak value of every customer, I just want to see using a graphical way. So that is what I am trying to do. So it is taking, so because it is creating all the backend infrastructure for the this particular chart application. So that's why it will take some 30 to 1 minutes, 30 seconds to 1 minute. Now you see which database you want to import. Okay, I'm just importing the distribution system and I just say finish. Okay, So I'll just delete this one. Okay, so now so it is just access. It is very important. Access, you just make it public so that everyone can use. Okay, so that means you can use that particular thing in any application. Okay, so data source is done. You just given access, public access, and what you can do, you can see here. You can change the database title of the database, maybe peak power pattern, something like that. So this is the name I just given. You can give any description. Okay, I just updated. Now what you have to do, you just have to click on this particular chart. Okay, so then click on add chart. So now here, when you come here, you have to select the data source. Here, data source is basically distribution system, and you just have to select the data source. Yeah, am I audible? Am I audible to all? Okay, you are getting what I am speaking. Some construction work is happening at the background, so just excuse me. So now you see here, I just selected the database, done. The second part, let me, what is my objective? I just want to, display the peak power of two customer, right? I'm just dragging that particular values to y-axis. Okay, I'm just dragging that particular peak value to y-axis. I just drop that value, first value. Okay, so let me select the column bar graph. Okay, so select the y-axis parameter 1. Okay, so this x-axis is not required. And the second y-axis parameter is the second value. So then what you can do, you can change the, name, peak power, pattern, something like that. Okay, pattern, you can give, so and so supply company. Okay, something like that. You can give any name. Okay, so and also you can customize this one. Okay, so what is that? So you can customize the axis. Okay, x-axis, y-axis, and all. Okay, so now you can see here x-axis. If you want to change, okay, so you can change the axis detail. Y-axis, no, you can change that y-axis name. Instead of value, you can make it p max in kilowatt, something like that. So that will reflect. Similarly, you can change the fields. So the first field, you can change the name of that particular field. Okay, so what is currently that field is taking the default, this some value. So instead of that parameter, what you can do, you can give your own. So I am just searching, yeah, here you can see here. So instead of that, you can see customer one P max. Okay, so customer one P max. So similarly, you can select the second customer, and you can give some other label, customer two P max. Okay, so now can you see here? I got some proper meaningful data. After that, you just have to click on save. Okay, you just done your graph is done. Got it. So your graph is created. Okay, so your graph is created. Now this is the beauty here is this. So now here you see, if you click on these three dots, you can embed this particular graph into your application. Okay, say how you embed. So just unauthenticated, enable unauthenticated access. Okay, so authentication, what you have to do, you just have to enable. Okay, so authentication, you just have to enable. So I just enabled for the external use. Okay, so now I think so authentication not required. Let me have uh, public access. So now when I click on this particular item, so now what is that? So where I just yeah, unauthenticated access. It is not authenticated access. Now after that, So unauthenticated access means, right? So anybody can use. Okay, now you see unauthenticated access, it is public now. So you see, you can use it in Java, you can use it in the iframe, in simple HTML. So how often that should refresh? 10 seconds. Okay, so which theme you want, dark theme or light theme? Okay, light theme. So now you can see this is the command or the iframe. This one you can embed to HTML code, and if you embed this particular HTML code, you will get that particular graph in a sheet. And if you can see here, this is the URL. Okay, even this URL, if you go and directly type, okay, directly type in the browser, you will get that graph. Can you see? Okay, so this is the graph. This graph you can see it in any application, Okay, so got it. So now what I'll do for just to demonstrate these things to you. Okay, so I'll write a simple HTML file. Okay, so I'll just write a simple HTML file. Maybe plot PMax, something like that. Okay, so HTML page. So I think what you can do, you can edit this one, and you can edit this one, and I'm just copy pasting a simple HTML page. Okay, so I'm just copy pasting. Okay, I just copy pasted, but only the thing is I just have to replace that iframe. Okay, so that iframe I just have to replace. So whatever iframe I'm getting from this particular application, I have to paste. Then save that one. And even if you come to your main, folder, there will be an HTML file, right? If you click on that particular HTML page, you will get that graph. Got it? So this is the way in which you can import this particular chart into any of your application, Now, and similarly, okay, so what you can do, using Python also, you can do that particular work. I'll just showcase that as well. So now this is basically, yeah. So now just to work on that particular aspect, I just taken this particular, sorry, not this one. Yeah. Yeah, so now I just want to see that particular thing in the Python browser. Okay, if I want to see that particular content in Python browser, then what you have to do, so don't worry about this, the code. I just copied from the internet. So this code, basically what it does, it, whatever HTML page you provide, okay, so that HTML page, it will just display in the Python browser. Okay, Python browser. So in some GUI it displays. So that is the code. Whatever HTML page you want to display, just give that particular HTML page here. Okay, so that is what this program does. And I'm just trying to run this program. Let's see how it works. Okay, so now you can see here that is coming in Python. So this is basically displaying your content in Python. Is that clear? So now what I'll do, just to demonstrate, right, it is a 10-second delay you have. So what you can do, you can modify the values. Okay, instead of let me keep these two windows side by side. Okay, and let me demonstrate this. So now you see here, I'm just edit this content. Okay, instead of this, what I'll make 300. Okay, so I'll make 300. So I'll just and replace that particular value. Okay, and can you see here immediately that will reflect wherever you keep this particular chart. In real time, the reflections in your data will take place in your application as well. So that is one thing what you can observe here. So whatever modifications you do in your data, so immediately that will reflect in your graph. So this is I'm executing in Python. So similarly, if you have mobile app, web application, everywhere that will reflect. So this will be mostly useful whenever you are looking for some application which requires some kind of graphical representation. Okay. Similarly, in the MongoDB, you have different types of graphs. You see here, So you have different types of graphs when you start creating a chart. So you can create line graph. You can create geospatial graph, and you can create tabular columns. You can see pie chart kind of circular plots. All those you can create using this particular MongoDB chart. Okay, so we understood the MongoDB database, and we understood MongoDB chart. Okay, so these features try to utilize in your program. Okay, try to utilize in your program. Definitely, you can do better. So most of the applications require this kind of requirement. Okay, is that clear?